Hello and welcome to Island House Handmade. I'm Renee, welcome back. Today we're making a leopard mesh wrap skirt for my black bathing suit for my upcoming cruise. We're using this 1 hour wrap skirt pattern, vintage, from 1993 that I purchased at my local thrift shop. This is what the wrap skirt looks like from the pattern. It's super easy to make, super easy to wear. It's all the edges have a marrow finish. This is the front wrap with the built-in tie. Everything has a marrow and a 1/4 inch bend back. This left front wrap has a tie that is top stitched onto the edge and goes through this keyhole on the side and wraps around and easily ties. Super quick, super cute, and I'm excited to make this today. So I hope you'll follow along. I'm going to show you how to cut this and prepare your patterns, and we'll go over to the sewing machine together and you can watch me sew this, and at the end I'll pop it on to show you how it matches back to my black bathing suit. But here's our layout. The piece was all chopped and rickety. There's a little slice right here. So what you want to do when you're laying out your fabric is, I have the pattern pieces all pressed. They were all crinkled. They need to be face up. So you lay them out all face up. Now, I want to add 3 inches to the length of this skirt. The skirt I showed you on the dress form is 19 inches from waist to bottom hem. There are 3 sizes in this pattern piece: an extra small, a small, and a medium. So I'm cutting the medium, and that's what I cut before, and it's the right width for my hip. And the measurements are on the back of the pattern card. This little piece on this edge is on the fold, and that's where the center back is. So if I take my tape measure, I know that if I add 3.5 inches, it'll end here, and this is where like the little end scrappy ended. This is like putting a puzzle piece together. Okay, so now when I lay this left front piece, all I have left when I lay this front wrap piece, the right side, if I go to the cut end of this, I have just 3 inches. So I've made it right on the money with every piece I have. And the last piece that we're gonna put together is the wrap tie piece, the long piece. We're gonna have to piece together some of the little extras after we cut this out. So we'll pin. I like to pin. Then I'm gonna measure my 3.5 and make a mark. And then we'll get cutting. Okay, I'm adding my 3 inches. You could see, I'm gonna use my ruler. I have my mat under the table. And 3 is there. So I'm gonna cut this. And I'm very close, so I'm just going to use this ruler and my cutter. then after I've cut the pieces, the main body, I'm only left with the teeniest little bit of scrap, and I'm very lucky because I found just enough to cut the tie on the fold. So this tie is cut too. What I've done is I've folded my mesh and I've compensated the pattern piece a little bit because I'm just gonna have one side of the tie on the fold, and I'm just gonna seam one edge and make the slight point with my sewing machine and then clean finish it that way. Okay, so here's our pieces. This is all we have left of my little scrap that I've been holding on to for so many years. Our front wrap. Let's lay out our back. All you need to do is make a clip where it says to notch, just at the end of your scissors, okay? Little teeny clip. Okay, and then we have the dot at the bottom here, which is where you're gonna sew the dart closed. So you need to go to the end of this dot where it's labeled. So what I always do is this, I put a pin right in, then I flip it over, and I take a little marking chalk, or I just use pins, and I just do a little pin like that in that spot. Then I take this off, and then I do another little pin. Okay, this is the left front. This is face up, sides together. We're gonna use this. This is the big sarong part. On the side where the sarong, the front, the right front, there's two little dots. The dots is where you stop and start sewing, because we have to leave that little keyhole. There's two little dots. We have to leave this opening for the wrap tie to pull through. All right, we're ready to start sewing. I set up the overlock machine with black, and I've prepared my sewing machine here with a stretch stitch setting. This will help us get through the mesh. There is stretch in it, and you do want to change your needle, and you'll use a ballpoint needle. Let's make a note that the seam allowance is a 5/8 inch seam allowance on the pattern. So if you're only going to overlock your side seams, which I think I will do that, you're going to need to compensate. So your overlock stitch will be approximately 1/4. You'll need to cut off as you overlock 3/8 of an inch to stick with that guideline of a 5/8 inch seam allowance. On the side seam with the two dots, you're going to use your sewing machine first, and you could see I left the opening. I sewed down from the top edge to the first notch. I'll show you that I left my, see? That's where the tie is going to come out. Okay, so we needed to leave that open. And now we can go back over to the overlock machine, and I'm just going to cut in, because you need to be able to open this seam allowance so that the tie can come through and then it's finished. So I'm going to start overlocking about here. Now for stretch, you need to slightly pull the mesh. Okay, and as you can see here, I'm trimming off about 1/4 as I go down the line to 3/8. It's starting to really look very pretty. I went ahead and I overlocked the top edge. I overlocked the front left front edge, and I just continued all along where the tie is on the right hand side. So you can see that your overlock is a little puckered. We're gonna press all that out. We're gonna bend back the top and 1/4 of an inch top stitch all along. And I think for now, I'm gonna be leaving the hem raw. And that might be just pretty and soft at the bottom. So let's finish up pressing, and then we're gonna head back over to the sewing machine to finish this skirt. What I'd like to do on the outside of this keyhole is give it a little top stitch. The skirt is just about finished. We need to put the finishing touch on the skirt, and I'd like to show you now. This is the tie. It's gonna go through this keyhole on the side. So here's the wrap. The tie is going on this side of the body. So we're gonna sew this on just like this, right along this seam. We just top stitch it. Okay, she's finished. It looks awesome, I'm so happy. Everything turned out perfect. The length, I had just enough. I wanted it to be a little bit longer. I used just a last piece of remnant fabric to make this, and I'm thrilled with the way it came out, and I can't wait to use it. So, from my handmade home to yours, I hope I inspired you to have a creative day. Thanks for following along, and don't forget, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.